Hello students, my name is Inderpreet Singh and I am your maths and science teacher. Today we are going to study a very important topic of class 10th science, chapter 6 life processes, and today's topic is human digestive system, and it is the figure of human alimentary canal. So today we are going to study human digestive system. So starting with the definition of digestion, what is digestion? Digestion is the simplification or breakdown of complex food material or substances in our body. I am repeating, what is digestion? Digestion is the simplification or breakdown of complex food material or substances in our body. So I am going to explain this figure of human alimentary canal, and by this figure we will study about human digestive system. So first of all, you can see in the figure that we intake our food by our mouth. So we intake the food by our mouth. After that, our teeth choose that food. Our teeth choose that food, and our tongue is used to roll and taste that food. First, we intake the food by our mouth, and then our teeth choose that food and break down that food, and then our tongue rolls and tastes that food. So the first function of digestion, that is the conversion of carbohydrate into glucose, starts in the mouth. And how this process starts, I'm going to explain that. So please listen carefully. The first function of digestion, that is conversion of carbohydrate into glucose, this occurs in this part of our mouth. So in our mouth, in the inner lining of our mouth, there is a gland called salivary gland. So this salivary gland is present here and below the tongue. This salivary gland is present here and below the tongue. So what is the function of this salivary gland? This salivary gland produces the saliva, the liquid which is present in our mouth, that is called saliva. So that salivary gland, which is in the inner lining of our mouth, present at this portion or below the tongue, that salivary gland produces the saliva, and in the saliva, the liquid which is present in our mouth is called saliva, and in the saliva an enzyme is present called salivary amylase. Now what are the enzymes? Enzymes are the biocatalyst, and it makes the metabolic or biochemical reactions fast in our body. So the salivary amylase, which is present in the saliva, it converts the carbohydrate of our food into glucose. So this is the first step of digestion in which carbohydrate is converted into glucose with the help of salivary amylase, which is an enzyme present in the saliva, and that saliva is excreted by the salivary gland. So here in our mouth, the function of carbohydrate, the conversion of carbohydrate into glucose with the help of salivary amylase takes place. This is the first step of our digestion process. Now, the food which we intake in our mouth, it will come. You can see here, this is called food pipe or oesophagus. This pipe is called oesophagus or food pipe. So the food enters in this pipe from the mouth, and in this pipe a special type of movement of food occurs, and that is called peristaltic movement. I am repeating, from the mouth the food enters in the oesophagus, which is the food pipe of our body, and in this pipe a special type of movement of food occurs, and that type of movement is called peristaltic movement. Now what happens in the peristaltic movement? Suppose the food enters in the oesophagus or food pipe, then this food pipe will contract from the upper side and it will expand from the lower side. This is called peristaltic movement. I am repeating, the contraction of the oesophagus from the upper side and expansion from the lower side. This type of movement is called peristaltic movement. This will help the food to pass through this oesophagus, and by this movement the food will enter into the stomach. So after the peristaltic movement in the oesophagus of the food, now the food will enter into the stomach. So in the stomach, here you can see this part is called stomach. This is stomach. So in this stomach there are special type of gland present, named gastric gland. Gastric gland is present in the stomach. So gastric gland consists in three parts. Gastric gland consists in three parts. Number one is HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. Number two is pepsin. Number three is mucus. So in the stomach, a special type of gland is present, and that gland is called gastric gland. And that gastric gland has three parts. Number one is HCl, hydrochloric acid. Now what is the function of hydrochloric acid in this stomach? So the basically function of hydrochloric acid in the stomach is to make the food medium acidic. So the first function of HCl in the stomach is to make the medium of food acidic, and the second function of HCl in the stomach is to kill the bacteria which has come with the food, or to kill the germs which has come with the food. So killing the bacteria in the food is also the function of HCl in the stomach. So basically HCl, hydrochloric acid, has two functions. Number one, to make the food medium acidic. Number two, to kill the bacteria of the food. And now the second part of gastric gland comes, and its name is pepsin. 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 So what is the function of pepsin in the stomach? It converts the protein into amino acid. So function of pepsin in the stomach is to convert the proteins into amino acid. Now the third part of gastric gland is mucus. What is the function of mucus in this stomach? Mucus protects the inner lining or the soft or delicate parts of the stomach from the harsh or tough hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is a strong acid. So to protect the inner lining of this stomach from the harsh or tough or strong hydrochloric acid, a special type of inner lining in the stomach is present, and that inner lining is called mucus. So the function of mucus is to protect the stomach or the delicate or soft parts or soft inner lining of the stomach from the harsh or stronger hydrochloric acid. So mucus helps in protecting the stomach from the strong hydrochloric acid. So the three parts of gastric glands called HCl, number 2 pepsin, number 3 mucus. I have explained all of them. I hope all the three parts of the stomach, HCl, hydrochloric acid, pepsin and mucus, is clear to all of you. Now here you can see a large organ is present. This organ is called liver. So this is the liver of our body. So what is the function of this liver? This liver produces the bile juice and bile salt in our body. What is the function of these two, bile juice and bile salt? Liver excretes or produces the bile juice and bile salt in our body, and it excretes them into the small intestine. So here you can see it is gallbladder, or here you can see it is bile duct. This part is gallbladder and this part is bile duct. So the bile juice and bile salt which is produced in the liver is stored in the gallbladder. So liver produces the bile juice and bile salt, and gallbladder stores that bile juice and bile salt. Now the question comes, what is the function of bile juice and bile salt in our body? So starting with bile juice, it makes the food medium alkaline. As we have studied, the HCl makes the food medium acidic. So the opposite of acidic is alkaline. So the function of bile juice is to make the food alkaline, and the function of bile salt which is the second liquid produced by the liver. The bile salt converts the large fat globules into small parts of fat. I am repeating, bile salt converts the large fat globules into small parts, and that process is called emulsification of fat. So what is the emulsification of fat? It is done by the bile salt, which is excreted by the liver, and in this process of emulsification of salt of food, in this process of emulsification of fat by the bile salt, the large fat globules is converted into small parts of fat. Means the large parts or globules of fat is converted into small parts or small breakdown into small parts of fat by the bile salt. I hope the function of bile juice and bile salt is clear to all of you. So the function of bile juice is to make the medium of food alkaline, and function of bile salt is to break the large fat globules into smaller ones, and that process is called emulsification of fat. So here you can see below the stomach an organ is present, and this organ is called pancreas. Below the stomach an organ is present, and this organ is called pancreas. So pancreas excretes two liquids and two juices called pancreatic juices. Pancreas excretes or produces two juices called pancreatic juices. So number one pancreatic juice is trypsin. Number one pancreatic juice is trypsin. So this trypsin name is similar as that name in the stomach and called pepsin. In the stomach we have studied gastric gland, and gastric gland is having pepsin, which converts protein into amino acid. So the function of protein into, so the function of pepsin in the stomach is to convert the protein into amino acid in the acidic medium. But in the pancreas, the trypsin converts the protein into amino acid, but this process occurs when the medium is alkaline. So in the stomach, pepsin converts the protein into amino acid when the food medium is acidic. The trypsin converts protein into amino acid when the food medium is alkaline. This is the basic difference between the trypsin and pepsin. Pepsin works in the acidic medium, and trypsin works in the alkaline medium and converts the protein into amino acid. Both have the same function of converting the protein into amino acid, but pepsin works in the acidic medium and trypsin works in the alkaline medium. And second juice produced by the pancreas is lipase. So what is the function of lipase in the pancreas? Lipase, it converts the fat into fatty acid or glycerol. So lipase, which is excreted by the pancreas, The function of that lipase is to convert the fat into fatty acid and glycerol. So students, before I go further, I want to discuss the three main steps which we have studied till now. So in the mouth, the carbohydrate is converted into glucose by the salivary amylase which is present in the saliva, and that saliva is excreted by the salivary gland. And after that, the conversion of protein into amino acid. The conversion of protein into amino acid takes place in the stomach by the pepsin, or in the pancreas by the trypsin. So second main step of digestion process is the conversion of protein into amino acid by the pepsin in stomach and trypsin in pancreas. And the third main step of digestion process is the conversion of fat into fatty acid or glycerol by the lipase. So these are the main three enzymes. Number one is salivary amylase, which is converting the carbohydrate into glucose in our mouth, and after that the conversion of protein into amino acid, it takes place in stomach and pancreas, and in the stomach it is done by pepsin, and in the pancreas it is done by trypsin. So the third step of digestion is the conversion of fat into fatty acid or glycerol, and this is done by the enzyme called lipase. So the pancreas, which excretes the second pancreatic juice called lipase, this lipase converts the fat into fatty acid or glycerol. So we have studied till now the three main steps: the conversion of carbohydrate into glucose by the salivary amylase, the conversion of protein into amino acid by the pepsin in the stomach and trypsin in the pancreas, and the conversion of the fat into fatty acid or glycerol by the lipase present in the pancreas. So after that, the food will come into the small intestine. Here you can see this is the small intestine. You can see here this is the small intestine. So this is the body organ in which the complete digestion of food occurs. This is the part in the human body where the complete digestion of the food occurs. So what is in this part? In the small intestine, here in the small intestine, a finger-like projections called villi are present. In the small intestine, finger-like projections called villi are present. I am repeating, in the small intestine, finger-like projections villi are present, and with the help of villi, the three main components of digestion, means when carbohydrate is converted into glucose, and second when protein is converted into amino acid, and third when fat is converted into fatty acid or glycerol. Now these three components, glucose, amino acid and fatty acid or glycerol, these all are absorbed by the villis, which is finger-like projections present in the small intestine. So these three main components, glucose, amino acid and fatty acid or glycerol, these all components will be absorbed by the villis, which is finger-like projections present in the small intestine, and After absorbing these three main components, the villi is having connection with blood vessels. Blood vessels is connected with the villi, and villi absorb the glucose, amino acid and fatty acid or glycerol, and after the absorption by the villi, they will be taken by the blood vessels which is connected to the villi, and that from that blood vessel all these parts or all these components, glucose, amino acid, fatty acid or glucose, fatty acid or glycerol, they all will be taken to the other body organs for the energy. So now the question arises, why the villis, which are the finger like projections present in our small intestine. So what is the function of villi in the small intestine? The function of the villi in the small intestine is to increase the absorption area in the small intestine. Villis increase the absorption area for the absorption of glucose, amino acid, fatty acid or glycerol. So the basic function of villi in the small intestine is to increase the surface area for the absorption of glucose, amino acid, fatty acid or glycerol. So with that villi, the blood vessels are connected, and that blood vessels takes the glucose, amino acid, fatty acid or glycerol and takes that components to other body parts or other organs of our body for the energy. So here in the small intestine, the main or the complete digestion of food occurs, and after that the food enters into the large intestine. Here you can see this is the large intestine. So in the large intestine, the water which is still present in the food is absorbed. So in the large intestine, the main function is to absorb the extra water which is still present in the food. So in the large intestine, the absorption of water from the food occurs, or the absorption of extra water occurs in the large intestine, and undigested food is excreted from the anus. The food which is not digested or which is undigested in our body is passed through the anus, or it is excreted from the anus. So the undigested food comes out or excreted from our body by the anus. So with this, the human digestive system completes, and I have explained all the steps of this human digestive system, and a small part called appendix is present here. So what is the function of this appendix in human alimentary canal? Appendix was not a working organ in today's human beings. It is present, or it is working, it was working when humans eat the raw food. When humans or when our ancestors eat the raw food, then for digestion of that raw food, this appendix was helpful. So for digestion of raw food, this appendix helps. But now the human beings don't eat the raw food. The human beings now don't eat the raw food, so the function of this appendix is now decreasing in the human beings, and that's why the size of this organ called appendix is decreasing in the human organs or human body. So this was the today's topic, human digestive system. I hope now it is clear to all of you. So before ending this video, I want to discuss the three main steps of human digestive system. The number one is conversion of carbohydrate into glucose by the salivary amylase, which is present in our saliva, and saliva is excreted by the salivary gland in our mouth. Saliva is the liquid which is present in our mouth. And after this, the second main step of digestion is the conversion of protein into amino acid by the pepsin in the stomach, and that occurs in the acidic medium. And after that, the conversion of protein into amino acid by the trypsin, that occurs in the pancreas in the alkaline medium. And after that, third main step is the conversion of fat into fatty acid or glycerol by the lipase, which is present in the pancreas. So these three are the main steps of the digestion: conversion of carbohydrate into glucose by the salivary amylase, conversion of protein into amino acid by the pepsin and trypsin, the conversion of fat into fatty acid or glycerol by the lipase in the pancreas. So this was today's topic, human digestive system. I hope now this topic is easy for all of you, and it is clear to all of you. So thank you everyone.